Meantime, Sioux Falls police are investigating after gunshots were fired at an apartment early yesterday morning. This happening at around 3:18 at an apartment near 49th Street and Louise Avenue. Officers say a man and woman were watching the resident's 5 children where there was a dispute. The woman left, and after that, the man who was inside told the resident that he heard gunshots when she got home. Officers found damage inside the apartment and confirmed that there were gunshots from outside the apartment. A vehicle outside was also damaged. No injuries in all of this. A witness nearby reported hearing gunshots and saw a black pickup leave the scene.